Hey guys, guess what time of year again it is? It's my Astro anniversary week and I'm celebrating 3 years of astrophotography. Now I never thought that I'd be in astrophotography this long, but I'm still here and you're still here, so thank you so much for subscribing to my channel and watching my videos. And as always, we're gonna be looking at some gear that I'm gonna be using in year 4, and we're gonna be selecting a challenge target. So let's go look at some gear. Like my neighbors always wonder what the heck I'm doing over here. You know? All right guys, so here's all the equipment I plan to use here in year 4. And I've actually downsized a little bit. But let's start with our William Optics Z73 APO refractor. Now for a basic refractor that is just a doublet, it has excellent image quality. And I also have my Celestron C6 SET. This is my first SET, and I initially purchased it to shoot primarily with Hyperstar, which I do, but I really enjoy shooting at the longer focal lengths on it. Despite all of the challenges an SET brings, especially the C6, it does have heavy vignetting, and collimation might not be perfect all the time, but it gets me really close to those objects in deep space that I love. And for a price of $550, can't really beat it. As I mentioned, the Hyperstar lens by Starizona. This brings my SET from that native 1500 millimeter focal length all the way down to 300 millimeters, and I get to shoot at f2. Now the advantage of shooting at f2 versus f10 is it's 25 times faster, and I can get so much data in such a short amount of time. So Hyperstar has proven to be very useful during the winter for me. I also have the Rokinon f1.4 85 millimeter, which is my super wide field setup. I also have the SV Bony 50 millimeter guide scope and the ASI 120 mm mini. And apparently you can image through the 50 millimeter guide scope, so don't be surprised if you actually see a video on that here in the future. As far as filters, I have my ZWO LRGB filters and also ZWO 7 nanometer filters that I continue to shoot through. I just added a 3 nanometer Antlia, and this one actually surprised me. So I plan to switch to 3 nanometer during certain applications like shooting with a full moon in the sky. But Antlia claims that this filter can shoot down to f3, and it says it meets the standard for Hyperstar. Now they didn't actually call out that it's compatible with Hyperstar, but it totally is. I get a lot of great data with Hyperstar on these filters, so definitely more filters to come on that. Then I have my ASI Air Pro over there, and honestly, I don't see myself upgrading anytime soon because it fits perfectly with the AM5. So I can fit it in this shoe over here on the other side of the AM5, and it doesn't hit anything. And I think that because of the size of the ASI Air Pro, definitely helps it out in that respect. If I do anything, I'm probably going to add another ASI Air to a second rig. Probably a smaller equatorial mount, but we'll see about that. I also have my 2 ZWO cameras. So I have the ZWO 183mm, gets me really close to those deep space objects because it's a 1-inch crop sensor. And also my ASI 294mm Pro, which I thought I would be using more in 11 megapixel mode instead of the 47 megapixel mode. But I love cropping in, and the added resolution, even with my crappy seeing out here, actually I can get really great photos with it, and it's kind of addicting cropping into those deep space objects. All right, last but not least is my TC40 carbon fiber tripod. It is so light that I can put it through a loop in my backpack with my AM5 in my backpack and carry it out the front door with any of my telescopes that are in a universal Astro case. These two items have been a game changer in the last year because they're so lightweight and they work so well out in the field. Honestly, I should have upgraded a lot sooner to the mount because even though I love my EQ6R Pro, it's just not the right mount for me because it is really, really heavy. I think when I get a backyard, I'll be using it more. And no, I did not get rid of it. I'm keeping it because it is also a awesome mount. Well, guys, that's all the gear I'll be using in year 4. Now, we need to select a challenge target this year, and I think we're gonna go for WR134. So let's start our project. In the spirit of the Astro anniversary, the target selected has to be really hard to get and take a lot of integration time. Last year, my mosaic took over a week to get, and once again, I'll be working through this time. So I'm not sure how much exposure time I'm going to need or get, so let's take a look at what we're getting ourselves into. So here is a little bit of information on WR134. WR134, or the WR in there, is actually short for Wolf-Rayet star. It's just a type of star. But let me read this real quick. So WR134 is a variable Wolf-Rayet star located around 6,000 light years away from Earth. It's 400,000 times as luminous as the sun, so it's super bright. And let's see here. So here's Wolf-Rayet. It's often abbreviated as WR stars. And I actually pulled up some pictures of it. So let's check that out. And I think this one here is Chuck Ayub's photo of it. I hope I pronounced his name correctly, but his YouTube channel is Chuck's Astrophotography. I'm sure you know who Chuck is. But as you see here, he kind of got the outer O3 shell of WR134. I'm assuming it's one of these stars that are in here. But there's a lot more to it, because if we click on some of these other photos, like this one, you can see that there's actually like a faint part of it, and it looks like a circle. And that's what we're going to try and get. All right, we're going to try and get the entire circle. But let's see how long this person took to expose all that, all right? Okay, looks like, whew, integration time was 30 hours to get this. Oh my gosh, man. Talk about a challenge, right? Well, tonight is gonna be night 1, and I don't have a lot of time tonight, so I'm just gonna try and get as much signal as possible. So here it is, the beginning of our challenge. Another nice night at the plant farm. Ooh, maybe not. What is this? What is this? I think the gate's open. Let's take it. We're gonna take it. Gorilla Astro again. Oh, snap. Oh, there it is, the mound. We're gonna go park right over there. Oh, we lucked out tonight, guys. Right, guys, what a night, what a start. I got a full, well, not a full moon, I got half moon up there. Looks like it's about to set, so that's good. I'm getting my first subs back on WR134, and my collimation actually looks really good tonight. I did a really good job collimating. But if you take a look at this here, it is super faint. This is hydrogen alpha, guys. So I'm gonna need a lot of exposure time on this. This is a 2-minute subs. I'm doing 2-minute subs just so I can get a little bit better tracking since I'm racked out here. I'm kind of scared of this project right now, but we'll see. Hey, how's it going? Hey, stay right there.
Yes.
All right, that was pretty crazy. There's this guy, like, this place is all fenced off, right? Except for my entry point. And this guy, I just hear footsteps, and this dude walks up on me, man, looking for the bus stop. Scared the shit out of me. So I had this, I shined this light on his face, so he couldn't really see me, but oh my God, dude. Do not sneak up on an astrophotographer in the middle of the night, man. That's a wrong move, dude. Oh my gosh, that scared the shit out of me. Check this out. It's definitely well pronounced right here. And I think if I get more exposure time, I think I have a chance of exposing the entire thing, because look at it here. You can almost see it. See it right here? I mean, I'm probably going to have to get a lot of exposure, but this for sure I'll be able to get. So just think what this is going to look like in like 5 hours of exposure, right? Pretty excited. Also, S2, I'm not really sure how much S2 is in there. That's my next set that I'm going to be shooting. If there's not a lot of signal in there, I'm just going to concentrate on HA and O3. I guess we'll see. Oh, I didn't mean to rhyme. I'm rhyming again. Pretty weird imaging night, right? I wasn't really expecting some random guy to just come up at me in the middle of the night in the dark looking for a bus stop. If you're a street astro imager like me, be careful, guys. You never knew who's going to be out there. I think before we get into the data that I captured, one thing I do want to say is that 3 years later, and I am still shooting with beginner gear, because number one, I'm a beginner myself and I'm getting better year by year. But also, I think that beginners coming into the hobby really need to see what it's like to shoot with gear like this because of the price point. All the stuff I shoot with is easily accessible to beginners, and I think a lot of people need to see what this basic stuff can do. That being said, let's go check out the data that I got. All right, so here's the data that I got on WR134, and this is the HA data, and I opted for 2-minute subs and at bin 2. With the 294, that's its most sensitive, and since I'm shooting with the C6, I'm not shooting with Hyperstar, by the way. I could have made things easy on myself and shot with Hyperstar, but in the spirit of the Astro anniversary, I decided to make things a little bit harder to myself. Harder for myself. But here we are. So here is the hydrogen alpha here, and man, it's really, really faint here. I'm actually kind of nervous because I'm not really sure how much exposure time I'm gonna get, because I have only a week to do this. But since I'm actually getting signal throughout this photo right here, or this sub, I'm guessing through stacking and whatnot, this is gonna become really, really detailed. Here is my O3, single O3 sub, and my Antlia 3 nanometer filter is definitely doing its job. This is the brightest part of the nebula here, and that is the O3 shell. And I don't know if this is matrixing in my brain or not, but here, I think I see the circle here. So I think with a lot of exposure time, I could probably bring that out. Here's my S2 as well, and it's super faint. Although I am getting signal through here, and since I'm getting signal, I think it's worth capturing S2. S2 I've found actually helps in the sharpening process. It gives me detail in the nebula and data that I can sharpen that I otherwise would not have. So whenever I get S2 signal, no matter how faint it is, I'll always try and capture it and integrate it in with my stack. So I know some people don't shoot S2 at all because it's so faint, but I still find it really helpful. Well, This is kind of what's going on with WR134. And I think I can do this. I'm just gonna need a lot of exposure time. So yeah, wish me luck, guys. Check this out, guys. Just arrived at the dark sky site. Look what I got to contend with tonight. It's the moon. Not really sure what it is. I think it might be 90, it's gotta be 98, 95% full. Luckily it's nowhere near where I'm gonna be shooting, but not a welcome sight. I'm not gonna complain because it is clear after a week. Yeah, you heard me, I had cloudy skies for a week straight. Really rough start tonight, guys. First, I plate solved to the wrong photo, so I had to restart my sequence over again. Luckily I caught it in time. I was only like 6 subs in. And I forgot my external mic cable to plug into my camera. Oy. 3 years later and I'm still making silly mistakes. Guys, it's night 3 and I got out here super early thinking I could beat the moon. Tonight is a 100% full moon night. Check this out. Holy mackerel, that is super bright already. You know what? I don't care what anyone says. That is bright AF. Look at this thing, man. Oh. That's the only night I have. So I'm just making the best of it. Holy psyche, that is bright. I am really shocked right now, guys. Got my first O3 sub back, and I'm actually getting some nebulosity here. Check it out. It's really faint, but let's compare it to my night 1 here. I mean, this is good for, you know, the brightest part of that nebula right there. But let's see what night 1 looked like. So let's all the way back here somewhere. All right, so there it is right there. That's pretty comparable, actually. Not bad, right? Honestly, I mean, I can almost make out the donut here. It's just super faint. I'm gonna need a lot more exposure time. As of right now, I have about almost 4 hours of data, right? I think I'd need another 4. It's funny because when I first started astrophotography, I was really impatient and I just wanted to make a picture really fast. Now it's like I could definitely take my time and I don't mind doing that. So I just get it in bits and bits each night. Because I have consecutive nights right now, even on my work nights. Like tonight, you know, I'm not going to be out very late just because I have to get up and go to work tomorrow. You know, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. But that's a few hours that I didn't have before. You know what I mean? And it all adds up in the end. So, I mean, just because I can't leave my scope out all night doesn't mean I can't make a pretty amazing picture, right? It just takes a little bit more work for me, but you know what? That's part of the thing, going out, enjoying the night, you know, going to a spot, just enjoying things. So, I mean, it's funny because making photos in astrophotography is, I think, secondary to just the experience. You know what I'm saying? At least that's what it is for me. And in my year 3, I'm learning that about myself, and it's super cool. The moon is so bright, it's just lighting up the landscape right now. Wow. You know, if I wanted a challenge for my Astro anniversary, I think I got it this year. But hey, that's the thing with astrophotography. When you don't really succeed at what you wanted to do, you just go harder. So WR134 for me This time around, it was super faint. I actually barely exposed any of the nebula. Honestly, I did get a little bit of the hydrogen alpha. There's a lot of dark nebula in the area that I'm interested in, but the O3 that would have made this photo, you know, that O3 bubble that I was really excited to get, is barely there. Only the brightest part of the nebula is present. However, I did get a little bit of the outer shell, so I think with a little bit more integration, I could probably get it. But I am interested in seeing what this looks like at f2. I wonder what 8 hours at f2 would reveal. So I might be doing that as a project at some point in time. Well guys, if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for spending my anniversary with me, and I guess that ends year 3, right? And the next time I see y'all, it's gonna be year 4. So I guess that's it for this one, guys. It's a wrap, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.